Okay, so we continue, and then of course, once this is done, then all these evidences are lined up, and based on this, you now have this issue over here, basically, which is who is winning. All right, and then if you are able to present all the evidence and show that everything is in your favor, then this is now 51-49, and you are better. Your opponent is not able to show in the same way that they are better, so of course you are winning. And remember, based on that, it's civil law, civil dispute, so you don't need preponderance of evidence or anything. It's not like 75-25. It's not like 91 and 9. This is 50-50, and somebody is 40-60, 51-49, and that's it. So of course, this is a very important aspect to remember in civil disputes vis-a-vis criminal law, which would be much more serious. All right, in criminal law, you have to be guilty beyond a reasonable doubt and things like that. So based on all of this that is heard by the judge, then the judge will agree and say, okay, yes, guilty or not guilty or whatever. And then the judge will pass her judgment, and that's it, the end. And of course, the judgment will be based on what the plaintiff was claiming. And so claim number 1, you want damages, okay. Claim number 2, you want an apology, okay. Claim number 3, you want more damages, something else, okay. This lawsuit may take 2 years, may take 3 months. So in the meantime, you want some temporary relief, maybe yes, no, okay. So based on your claims, your prayers or whatever you call them, you will get relief. Now, if you're not happy with this, either party, both sides, it's not like only one side. Either side can say, okay, we are not happy, and we'll go and appeal. And then that's your right. So remember, the court trial system is like it's a pyramid. So you have at the base district court, then you have the high court, then you have the Supreme Court, and you can't just go and appeal for no reason. Your first right of appeal, of course, is guaranteed. Nobody can stop that. Your second appeal is more on law questions. All right. So you can put in your appeal over here, and so either you're not happy with the decision because there are some errors over here in the decision. This is not a copyright issue. This is a consumer right issue, or something like that. Or there's an error in procedure. Some key witnesses were not allowed, or something. And then also, of course, it could be that you have different courts and they have different judgments now based on similar cases. So you want an appeals court to consolidate everything and say that, no, this is the correct approach to be taken. And so you have an appellate tribunal, or judge's bench. It could be a 1 judge, it could be 3 judges, 2 judges, whatever. And so this panel will now look at various things. It's not a retrial. They're just looking at some aspects. Of course, what are the new things you can put in over here at this stage? That's very controversial, so you have to be careful about this. Appeals is a huge procedure by itself. And of course, first right of appeal is on question of fact or question of law. Second appeal would be to a Supreme Court, constitutional bench, or whatever, and this would be, of course, on a serious question of law. The question of law could be, for example, this could be very fundamental. It could be that the judge in the trial stage or at the appeal stage did not listen to you because you're not a citizen of this country. And they said, no, this thing can only be owned by citizens, and only they have rights, and you're not a citizen, so we can't help you. Now, if that is the question, then of course you could go to the Supreme Court and ask, are all rights only for citizens, or fundamental rights apply to everybody, something like this. Or in the case of remember this ex-boyfriend and his ex-girlfriend and the child support money, and things like that. Now, what if you have a situation where this ex-boyfriend undergoes a sex change and becomes a woman, and now he says, "Well, I don't know what this girlfriend of mine is talking about. I'm not a man anymore. I had a sex change operation, so I don't owe anybody anything because I'm a woman. How can I be a father?" So again, you have a serious question here, which goes to the Supreme Court, which would be, if your sex changes before the trial or during the appeal stage, then what are your rights and obligations and duties? Simple things. All right. So especially this could be an issue when the definition of a father under that family law statute says a father is a man. Yeah. And now officially this person is not a man because he has changed his sex and has become a woman. So again, as a lawyer, you can see this is crazy stuff, right? You have to be very careful about how these things go. And if it becomes an issue of law, a question of law, not a question of fact. So it's a question of law, then of course you can go even to the second appeal. What happens usually in appeal stage? Either the judges will say, yes, we agree with what the lower court judge said and appeal dismissed. Or the judges may say, no, the lower court judge messed up, forgot some points. So this goes back to the lower court judge for retrial on those specific points. Or it could be that, this lower court judge is useless and this matter needs to go to a different court or a different tribunal because, this is very serious or something has really been messed up over here. Of course, very, very strange, but this can also happen sometimes. And then lastly, you also have a judicial review. And a judicial review is a different system from an appeal. So you have to be very careful about this. Basically, you have a court, a much higher court, usually very high court in this situation, either the High Court or the Supreme Court, which would say that we have to monitor what other government branches or arms or departments are doing. Now, this is very dicey, all right? Because remember, the legal system is based on three pillars. You have the judiciary, you have the executive, and you have the legislature, right? Three pillars, and they make the house, and there's non-interference as a principle. It's very important. The Prime Minister of Estonia or of Finland cannot say to the judge, hey, do your work like this. Of course not. The police commissioner of Helsinki cannot tell the judge of Helsinki or the politician in Finnish parliament how to do their work. No, everybody is separate. Remember, if there is interference, that's a very bad thing. If the prime minister is giving orders to the police officers how to do work, that's wrong. All right, they are separate three legal entities with distinct rights. But what review means is that the Supreme Court judge can tell the Prime Minister of Finland or of Estonia that what you're doing is non-constitutional, unconstitutional. This is not acceptable. What do you mean? Parliament is doing something in the wrong way. Now, this is a very rare incident, and this thing is not something that's done lightly. You can't have this every time, but sometimes it can come up. You can go and file a complaint before the High Court judge and say, this police officer is not doing her job properly. And then the High Court will say to the police, we have checked this matter and we have discussed this, and we think your internal manual, code of conduct guidelines are wrong. There's something wrong over here and you're doing it incorrectly. Now, this is very tricky. This is where the judiciary supervises and oversees the functioning of other branches or organizations within this structure. And so this is a very serious thing. And of course, when this happens, there are certain outlines on for that. This could be a review of a lower judicial authority, district court, high court, Supreme Court, or it could just be of a different branch or office as well. So you have to be very careful about this. This could be in a situation, for example, where let's say the police department and the home ministry are not giving visas to certain categories of people. All right, so if you are from this country, you will not get a visa. End of the story. Now, what if a person from this country is married to a citizen of the European Union and they want to live in Tallinn or in Helsinki? And the Home Ministry says, no, we can't give it to you because it doesn't matter. Under our rule book, if you are from this country or from this region or this is the color of your skin, then you don't get a visa. End of the story. In that case, this could be a matter of a review where the higher court judge, the reviewing authority, could say, no, you cannot have such a law which or a guideline or a rule which is fundamentally racist or nationalistic or whatever. So these are all these points, and well, that's more or less the procedure. Do make sure that you read up the regulation under Brussels 1. It's not from the exams point of view, but it's very important to know. And also the article on forum shopping, very interesting aspects. All right. So we end here for today. Sorry, I had to make this into 2 parts. Yeah, I don't know. Phones giving up. But anyways, thank you for your time and see you next week. Goodbye.